Haneen Al-Sayari. I am your co-host for the IMI Right Now TV show. Today broadcast will be showing the Spring of Hope International, Kenya Mission. Our special guest is Charlie Weinberg, nurse, and Dr. Angela Haugo, who just returned from Kenya. We would like to welcome them back home and enjoy the show. Hi, my name is Haneen Al-Sayari, and I'm your co-host, and we are in I Am Right Now TV show, and now we have our guest.
Hi, my name is Shirley Weinberg. I'm a retired nurse.
I am Dr. Angela Haugo. I'm a doctor practicing in Stevensville, Montana.
And we went to Kenya together on a mission.
Good afternoon. My name is Jay Van Smith. I'm the executive producer of the IMI Right Now television show. Today we are honored to have our distinguished guest, Mrs. Cheryl Weinberg, who's a retired nurse from the state of Montana, and the Honorable Dr. Angela Haugo, who is a family practitioner here in from Stevensville, Arkansas.
Montana.
Stevensville, Montana. Pardon me, doctor. Again, we have this today is a special broadcast where we are featuring the Spring of Hope International, engaged in sustainable community development. The doctor and our missionary just recently returned from Kenya in Africa, and in a moment we'll have them to come on and essentially toot their horn. But right now I'd like to share a little insight on the IMI, the Right Now television show. At IMI, we are your source for an advanced and new perspective serving youth, disabled, seniors, and veterans. IMI is informative, IMI is news, IMI is advocacy, IMI is cultural empowerment, IMI is jobs, and IMI is inspirational. We are your source for Corporate Industry and Technology Alliance USA Incorporated. Tune in to our broadcast in Michigan City, Indiana on Channel 99 Alco Television, Thursdays at 4 p.m. Central Savings Time and Saturdays at 7 p.m. Central Savings Time. And also here in Missoula, Montana on the Charter Cable Channel, Channel 189, Mondays at 6 o'clock p.m. and Saturdays at 5 o'clock p.m. Again, we want to thank you all for tuning into the broadcast, and at this moment, we'd like to introduce our distinguished guest to the show. Welcome, Mrs. Weinberg.
Hello, it's good to be here. Thank you.
We'd like to say Jambo, because that is the Kenyan greeting that we were accustomed to when we went on our mission trip.
And above all, I'd like to welcome you all back home.
Well,
thank you.
Ain't it good to be back home again?
It's
Yes,
great.
very good.
Very good. We wanted to show you the Kenyan handshake, because when you're introduced to someone in Kenya, you do the handshake.
Okay, well, I'm all thumbs.
So join us out there.
All right.
So you do the regular handshake,
Yes,
one, two, then you flip your hands,
Flip your hands,
and then you go back and forth,
and
then back to the regular handshake.
Oh, super.
So let's do it like we know what we're doing.
Okay,
All
here we
right,
go.
here we go. Oops, we did it wrong. Let's do it right.
All right. 1, 2, back, forth, back, back.
Got it.
Hey,
Yes.
all right.
Hallelujah.
I love it. Well, if you will, Evangelist, would you tell us a little bit about the mission and the great work that you all are doing over at Spring of Hope?
Well, we went with the Spring of Hope, which is focused.
What do we have here?
Oh, and that picture, is that at the farm?
Come join us.
That one is from David.
Yes,
He
ma'am.
sent us a clip with his Spring of Hope PowerPoint.
Okay.
I can't see
So this gives lots of different information about some of the objectives, goals, and missions for Spring of Hope. Spring of Hope is an organization that we went over to Kenya. Spring of Hope was started by David Opap. He is the founder of it. He actually was born in Kenya, along the western side of Kenya, in a small village called Adiedo. He grew up very poor and had very meager resources. He had no great source of water or at least safe, clean drinking water. He actually felt the effects of all this contaminated water when his family would become sick, and his mother passed away as well. This was powerfully impacting on his heart, and he decided he needed to start an organization to change that and give clean water sources to the people that he knew and loved so much. He had the opportunity to come to the United States, go to college in Minnesota, and that's the time that he started this organization. And since that time, he has built a lot of great water sources for the Kenyans. He has established 3 water wells, multiple huge rainwater catchment tanks, as well as some pond excavation, which has helped with water sources. This has made a great difference for Kenya, and since that time, he has actually expanded on his goals to empower the Kenyans in other ways, physically, spiritually, emotionally, as well as helping them economically or financially.
Marvelous, marvelous. Well, missionary Weinberg, what's your take on the mission? In your experience visiting Kenya on behalf of the Spring of Hope International?
Well, you know, I didn't know much about Spring of Hope initially, but when my daughter Angela told me she was going on a mission trip to Africa, I said, I'm going with you.
Amen. Marvelous.
And
marvelous.
She laughed at me. She didn't know I was serious, but I was dead serious. And so we applied, and David reviews all the applications, and he selected us primarily because Angela is a doctor and I'm a nurse. And we could help the people in Kenya to learn more healthy living skills, both eating and boiling water for safety, and cleaning and brushing their teeth. We did a lot of informational teaching in that line.
I noticed at one point you were passing out, looks like toothbrush and toothpaste for their oral hygiene.
Right. Well, the Kenyans, they're just trying to survive day to day, so a lot of times things that we take for granted as a normal hygiene, such as brushing your teeth, can be quite rare. So we actually were telling a lot of the Kenyans that they should try brushing their teeth, and we gave out hundreds and hundreds of toothbrushes and toothpaste, which the children especially loved. And even some of the children will eat the toothpaste because it kind of tastes like candy to them. But we also wanted something that was sustainable, so David encouraged us to give them alternatives if they can't have the money for, or don't have the money for, toothbrushes and toothpaste, that they can use frayed branches for a toothbrush, and they can make their own toothpaste by using salt water or some combination of baking soda and oils.
Yes.
So that was really a wonderful opportunity for us to share with them.
That's marvelous. Again, what are some of what would you say were some of the fundamental objectives of the mission of your team going forward? And who were some of the people who served on your team?
Well, we had several people on our team, and David handpicks with a program in mind. And he handpicked Angela and myself for the health training, but we also coordinated with Shug Berry, who does prison ministry. And she is out of Minnesota, and her
organization can be found on the website himprisonministry.org, and it's Him Prison Ministries.
with an H-I-M.
Correct.
Yes.
Now, yes, go ahead, Doctor.
And then we also had Lisa Fairburn, and she was very instrumental in keeping us coordinated and on track. And she and David and Michael were very involved in helping to do pastoral training. What else did we have, Ange?
We also had Kara Rowe, and she was our photographer. Some of the pictures you'll see today actually were taken by Kara. She also was our videographer, and so she played a very crucial role, as well as helping us too with the prison ministries, pastoral ministries, and health ministries.
I know they're speaking about people with AIDS. Did you find that to be a prevalent issue or problem there?
In Kenya, it is a prevalent problem. Right now, they estimate that 1 in 20 Kenyans is positive for HIV, Fortunately, at this time, the Kenyan government does pay for treatment, but there's a large stigma problem with being labeled with HIV. It can change the dynamics of your relationships and even change the dynamics of where you can work or how you earn money. So some people will postpone getting tested for HIV because they're trying to avoid that stigma. Now, Spring of Hope International is trying to help with that in its own way. There's an HIV support group that it has become close friends with, and they have given a tiny capital money to, and they formed their own business, and a greenhouse business where they grow plants as well as keeping bees and collecting the honey. And all this has been a sustainable business industry for them so that they don't have to worry about the stigmas of the HIV. They are also welcoming into their group new people, and there was a girl that we met at the HIV support group that shared that she had felt shunned in the society, and she felt afraid of going in and being tested for HIV until she met the support group, and that gave her the confidence to go through with the testing, the treatment, and she even had her son tested, and he was HIV negative, and she praises God for that every day.
Amen.
It was wonderful.
It was great.
Amen. Well, that's marvelous. Well, I understand. I saw some pictures of you guys teaching and visiting schools. Could you tell us about that? What are some of the things you learned about the schools of Kenya?
Oh, the schools were very fun. They're very crowded, a lot of children, and they loved Angela. She just really worked with them in a great way. We'd give a health presentation in the school, and the kids would all be very attentive, unlike in America where they're bored or they don't want to hear it. These children are just eager for the knowledge, eager to hear what you have to say, eager to listen to the Mazungus. Yes, us white people are Mazungus, and they like that. That was a complimentary term. But the schools were great, and Angie, you wanted to show them the song that you taught them about cleanliness?
Well, while we were teaching them about keeping healthy, we would talk about hand washing, we would talk about boiling water, we would talk about keeping the water clean by safe storage in containers, as well as using the latrines instead of going outdoors, which perpetuates contamination of the water. So to make it fun for the kids, we decided we should make a song, and it's actually a song that they know in Kenya, and we would sing "If You're Happy and You Know It," and we would put in our health pitches there. So if you're happy and you know it, wash your hands.
Oh,
If you're happy and you know it, wash your hands. And of course, the kids absolutely loved it. They could fly with that, and it was something to help them kind of remember to wash their hands and to keep their water sources clean.
Now, who do we have here
Well, that one, there was Carol was
slideshow.
on it, and myself.
Yes.
And then there was a gal that was in one of the churches, and she was a music minister, and she had a voice that was just beautiful. And the church services are very exciting, they're very alive, and the buildings are generally kind of open. You get the air and the rain or
Now,
whatever.
what do we have here? Where are we?
That's a prison. And
Okay.
go ahead and tell.
So yeah, we went to a number of prisons, and some of them were higher security, some of them were lower security. Lower security prisons, you would see maybe some volleyball nets out, some livestock roaming around. It was a little more casual. Higher security, you'd see the higher fences, more crammed conditions. But it didn't matter where we went. As soon as Shug Burry started talking, the prisoners' hearts would just start to soften. You'd see their faces just light up with encouragement. And it was a wonderful thing to see. Now, in the prisons, they don't have a lot of support as far as just basic hygienic needs.
Yes.
So they don't have toilet paper, they don't have soap, unless someone from the outside is sending it to them. And there is some corruption in the prisons in which they can have things confiscated. So that can be a discouraging thing. But when we went in, we would bring those
Doctor,
supplies.
where are we here? I noticed we see the kids. I don't mean to
That's
interrupt
a
you.
high school.
So is that a Catholic school or a private school?
All schools in Kenya are required to wear uniforms.
Oh,
You
marvelous.
can go to school without a uniform and without paying tuition.
Yes.
But if you do, it doesn't count towards your completion. You have to have
Oh, it's
formal
to earn credits.
completion. Yes. You have to have formal completion of all 8 years by paying tuition and wearing a uniform in order to get to high school. And you also have to pass your standardized scores on the national exam in order to
eighth
get
grade.
into high school.
I see we have this Lion Pride where you are. Did you all encounter that?
Oh, yeah, we
Right.
were about 10 feet from those lines,
Are you serious?
safely within our van, yes.
Oh,
Right.
safely within the van.
Right.
But
because
it had an opening about this big, if they wanted to come in,
no.
they could have done that.
Is that right? They could have charged and
Right.
That's right.
and joined you, huh?
Right. I was a lookout. I kept on looking behind us, making sure they weren't coming.
I'm sure. So now, what were your nights like? I mean, what kind of life was it like, being that they didn't have these lights?
Right.
What-
Well, the
how
place
do
that
you
we were staying in
settle in, put it
actually had a little bit of electricity and water,
Okay.
so that wasn't too unusual
helped.
for us. But during the day, we would go out to the village areas, and
Yes.
there weren't sources
the
of
village area, ma'am?
water. Mhm.
That's at the AIDS camp
What did you call
that we
it?
were at, where the AIDS, the group of.
HIV support group.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would these be the prisoners here?
Right.
Now we're at the prisoners again.
Okay.
The pictures are just rotating in and out
Right,
more.
and I appreciate you all sharing some perspective, but I would like to try to give the viewing audience a concept or
what they're
of what's
seeing.
going on and what they're seeing in lieu of
That's
where
a
we are.
church, that's a church, and they just put a curtain across the back.
Okay.
And then the speakers, there we go.
Church, is it Baptist, Methodist, Protestant? What do they have for church?
We go to Protestant churches.
Well, but actually over in Kenya, they
Yes.
actually don't have as many divisions of churches that are similar to ours.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually they are kind of considered Christian or other religions. So
Right.
all the ones we went to are Christian based, but some of them might have tiny bit differences in how they worship. But all of them were Christian churches.
Super.
And that's our motel. That's a picture from. our
And who are
motel.
we here? Who is this?
That's our
president?
mission team.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lisa Fairburn and then Angela, but it's gone.
All right, well,
This is in church again, and look at, that's a window at church. Like I said, it's open air. Look at those beautiful boys standing there.
Bless their hearts.
And the
Yeah.
girls and the boys all have their heads shaved, pretty much, because there's a problem with lice. So I did make a
Who do
few
we have
errors
here?
there. That's Pastor Michael, and he's the leader of the church that we went to on the first night we were there.
Okay, and then one of the elders from the neighborhood or the community?
These are just
these are the
people from-
parishioners.
Okay.
And at the end of the services, the people that are struggling with food sources, they sometimes at the church services will give them a small portion of food that they can take home for their families, which is really nice. That's part of the struggles of the churches there is lack of finances. And so some of them were actually meeting outdoors in the open hot air or in these tiny shacks. And Spring of
Yes.
Hope has sometimes made donations for building structures so these churches can actually have an organized structure. And one of the ones we went to was Pastor Michael's, who you saw up on the screen, and it actually is a beautiful church.
Does Spring of Hope have an actual edifice or structure, office complex or building or compound, housed or located in Kenya?
Yes, they do. They do have a house in Kenya in which the
An
social
office.
workers work out of there.
Okay.
And there's 3 social workers that worked with us, Grace, Joseph, and Elisha, and they are wonderful people. They are angels on earth. They work so hard. They meet with all the children that Spring of Hope sponsors.
I love that picture. Yeah, I'm listening down.
Yeah. They-
Pardon me, I'm
They
used
meet
to
with all the
multitasking.
children.
Yes.
I have sponsored a child through Spring of Hope, and that's actually how I
That
came
is
to know this
amazing.
organization.
That is amazing.
And I've sponsored Eric for about the last 6 years. Here's one of the pictures Eric sent me in a letter, and we send him pictures and letters.
That is
And
wonderful.
all the social workers go around and make
That
sure
is
there's good
wonderful.
connection with the individuals that are sponsoring the children, and that pays for their uniforms, helps with tuition, helps with school supplies, and gives these children an opportunity. That is one of the fundamental things about SOHI, or Spring of Hope International, is that they believe that through education,
Eric right there.
they can reduce poverty.
Oh,
Angela, what?
That's just hard.
Angela was given a Bible from my mother when she was a very small child. And
Yes.
as a gift to Eric, Angela passed that same Bible off for Eric. And
That is
Bibles
amazing.
are very cherished because they are expensive and most people
Amen.
don't have them.
They're cherished here.
Yes, right,
So it
right.
had to be doubly cherished over there. That was
Yes.
the
And being
blessing.
the sweet boy he is, he accepted the gift and said thank you. And then being a boy, he said, next time you come, will you please bring me a soccer ball? And so one of the social workers
that's
allowed me to
amazing.
go into the city with her and buy a soccer ball and give that to him the next day. And of course, he was quite happy with that. He had a Bible and a soccer ball.
Oh, Doctor, that is amazing. That is
Yeah,
wonderful.
very sweet.
Well, you all are truly doing God's work down here on earth. And if you will, could you give the viewing audience a location, an email, an address of how we might be able
Right.
to contact you to learn more about Spring of Hope
can
International
reach-
and or send their contributions?
Right.
Are you all a nonprofit organization?
Yes.
Very much.
Yes.
If you will, Doctor, would you please give your
Sure.
viewing audience information on how they can reach the Spring of Hope?
Sure, you can find out more information about Spring of Hope International by going to springhope.org.
Yes.
And in that informational sheet, they have the website designated to show you the different things you can donate to, if you want to sponsor a child, or lots of other information and contacts that if you have questions or you're interested in someday doing a mission, you can ask them those questions.
And that address again, ma'am?
Is springhope.org.
And that would be the web page, right?
Right, and they are located out of Spokane, Washington.
Now, do we have an email address where we can send? So where would we send the actual donations?
It's on the
contributions?
website. It's on the
Just
website.
contact. Give me that.
Springhope.org.
And if you wanted to mail a contribution in, we do have the corporate office, well, the office in Spokane, and that's at Spring of Hope International, Post Office Box 19363, Spokane, Washington, 99219. And if you prefer, you can designate where you want your money to go. And I'll just give a couple examples. You can sponsor a high school student or a grade school student.
Yes.
You can go for pastoral training, shipping books to supply the library that we're building that's from Spring of Hope.
Wonderful.
We educate in basic health training, rain catchment systems, and these are big, huge tanks that sit beside a house, and the rain goes from the roof into the catchment, and then it's clean water for them to wash in.
Wonderful.
But if they're going to drink it, they have to boil it. We can also buy bicycles. They're wanting bicycles for the pastors because they don't have transportation there, and the bicycles are pretty good there. There are just a variety of ways, and it's all listed on the website.
On the webpage,
and
yes.
we're really stressing agriculture. Spring
Yes.
of Hope did pay for representatives from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to go over, and they made a sample farm that shows better ways of farming.
We paid the government to go over there, or the
Spring of
government
Hope.
supporting
Spring of Hope paid.
the government?
Right.
Yes.
The U.S.
US.
Department of Agriculture to go do soil samples so they could figure out what would be the best
It
plants to
seems
be
like that
able
would be
to
something that
plant.
we'd be glad to do. I mean, because the work you all are doing is just truly, it's humanitarian, it's God's work.
Yes.
You're feeding the sheep, you know, and this is how God gets the glory out of us. I'm a God-fearing person, and I believe that there's power in prayer and there's power in giving. And the only things you actually keep in life are the things you give away.
That is exactly.
Things you keep, you lose. The things that you give from the heart, and if it doesn't come from the heart, it doesn't mean anything. So we strongly urge you all to support this organization for the admirable work they're doing. As the Spring of Hope International, the Kenya, and what we're viewing today is the Kenya project. They just recently, the doctor and the missionary recently returned from Kenya and Africa. And again, we want to commend you all. And thank you for coming in on our show. Do we have any additional information that you'd like to share with your viewing audiences insofar as some of the basic essentials? What are some of the primary, some of the major resources that you're in need of?
Well, the people in Kenya, like Angie said, there aren't bathrooms. The houses in the village that we visited were made either of mud or cow dung.
Yes.
And they make them with that and sticks, and there's not electricity in there, so water, of course, is the primary need.
Cow dung.
dung. That's cow manure. They let it dry and partially, and then.
Well,
they smash
I'm a
it
city
together.
boy. I mean, you got to find my
It actually works as a cementing
Yeah, I'm from the
tool.
big city.
Yeah, it works as a cementing tool.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. And then you can live in it? I mean, can you bear it?
Oh, yeah,
Is it
yeah.
bearable?
Yeah.
After a point, I guess
Right.
the old
The air, yeah.
dissipate.
Right.
Whoa,
Right.
wonderful. Now, I noticed you're in the community, villages, obviously.
Yes.
Are there pretty populated villages? Do you notice? There are a lot of, do they have homelessness? Would that be the proper term there? Or do they just live in a primitive society?
Not really in the villages, but in the cities they do, and they do have some surrounding cities. Where we were staying was Oma Bay, which
Yes.
is right by Lake Victoria, and that is a pretty well-populated area, pretty well-established city.
Okay.
So, and there are homeless problems there, that's for sure.
But the villages that we visited, Jose, are kind of small in number of population, but they cover a great mass of land because everybody's farming, because they have to raise their own groceries. And if a family is fortunate, they might have a cow or a goat or a sheep. And Angela and I are sponsoring a sheep for Eric's family.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
There are a lot
That's
of chickens.
amazing.
A lot of chickens run, and the animals, a lot of them roam during the day. They might roam miles away from home, and they're got a rope tied around their neck, so when they go to retrieve them, they can lead them home.
Right.
So are you saying, in essence, that people, they respect other people's property?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
In the rural,
Um,
in the rural
In
setting.
the rural
Now,
areas.
so how do they have, is there a crime there? Or what is the situation?
Well, there is crime there. You'll see in the bigger cities, even like Homa Bay, the fences that they'll have around their property a lot of time will be laced with glass, like broken pop bottles and things, to keep people out from stealing their belongings.
Right, from breaking in or trying to.
Yes.
Right. But not really as much in the village areas.
village, it's
They're a
not.
very tight-knit community, and they know each other very well.
Right.
And so if someone comes in that's from the outside
A
of that village area,
stranger.
yeah, they kind of keep their eye out on one another. So they're very supportive of one another. They look out for one another. I can't stress enough how much we need those clean water sources.
Yes.
That there are 4 million people worldwide that get stomach or diarrheal sicknesses every year from contaminated water. And also there are 3.4 million deaths every year. And most of those are little children under the age of 5 because of those same waterborne diseases. So if we can keep getting the clean water sources for the people, we really are empowering them in so many ways. One of the ways that it's actually helping with education with the clean water sources, the rain catchment tanks are going into some of the schools, and for the first time ever, they have clean water sources for their kids. Another thing is this is transforming the education of women and children.
Yes.
Because the girls are responsible for going and getting the water for the families in the morning. When the women and girls were having to walk 3.5 and 4 miles to go for their water sources first thing in the morning, by the time they got back, they were so exhausted or they were so late to school, they would fall behind in school and at some point just stop going. Now that they have cleaner water sources, the education has been so promoted for children, especially those girls, now that they are able to attend school in a timely way and keep up on their schooling. They're actually seeing more girls getting into high school education than they were before because of that opportunity.
That water opportunity, yes.
Yeah.
I did want to mention here, Jose, that to get into high school, everybody in 8th grade has to take a standardized test. And those tests are sent to a central location, and the high school principals can look at those test scores,
Right.
and they handpick high school students from all of Kenya. They can pick students from northern Kenya, you know,
Based on
western,
their
eastern.
academic standards.
Yeah, so getting into high
course.
school is not a given.
I
know.
gotcha.
No.
And so, you know, as much as we can do to help people to stay in school,
Yes,
either in sponsoring them,
right.
because if they're not sponsored, if they're not paying for school, they can't apply for that high school.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, at this moment, we're just going to pause for station identification as we, we're going to pause and when we come back, we'll come back with Dr. and with Dr. Hugo and missionary Shirley Weinberg. You all would pardon us.
You're watching Right Now Television. I'm Hani Al-Sari, your co-host. So Kenya was a nice trip?
Wonderful.
It was beautiful, and most beautiful thing was the joy that you saw in the people in the rural areas. You didn't see that in the urban areas, but people in the rural areas would wave at you, and they'd be so excited to see you. And it was just people with very little means had very big hearts and very, very huge devotion to the Lord. They know that they had to rely on God to survive.
Is there any like Arabs like helping?
Well, yes, there are. There are people from all nations helping, and there are organizations of Arabs who come and they do their mission work in their faith.
Well, that's nice.
So that's it. You get all faiths, all nationalities.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Falling on my knees in worship, giving all I am to seek your
cute. All right, what is baby? What?
I'll say, hi, my name is Hani Al-Sari. I'm your co-host from Right Now TV show.
Then follow their lead, because they're going to be running it. Okay.
Rolling. And action.
Hi, my name is Hani Al-Sari, and hi, my name is Hani Al-Sari, and
I'm your co-host.
okay. Hi, my name is Hani Al-Sari. I'm your co-host from I Right Now TV show, and we have our guest.
Hi, I'm Shirley Wanberg.
And I'm Angela Haugo. We live in the Missoula area, but we took an amazing mission trip over to Kenya, Africa, to enjoy a fabulous experience through Spring of Hope International, which is an organization that has given back to the Kenyans in a very incredible way, especially in the smaller village areas, founded by Mr. OPAP, David OPAP. And we're here to encourage you to be a part of this wonderful organization and the missions that they're trying to accomplish for clean water accommodations, including drilling wells, establishing rainwater catchment tanks, also looking at pond excavation and other areas of helping with water, clean water sources.
And we really need your support. Spring of Hope operates on a very slim budget, but we have big aspirations and we need your help. We have the address and the website. The address, if you want to send money, you can send it to Spring of Hope International, Post Office Box 19363 in Spokane, Washington. And the zip is 99219, and you are going to be helping people to live healthy for water. They're being trained how to farm better. Education is being stressed. Support for the nursing students. We want to get Kenya as healthy as we can, and we're working in West Kenya near Lake Victoria. So it's right on the border, and we want your help. And the cause couldn't be better. Angie, can you tell them where the website is?
Right, you can go to www.spring.hope.org to find out more information and more specific information. And
We want to tell you some of the items that Spring of Hope is working toward. We said the water catchment, the water drilling, but we're also wanting to build a library, and it's been started. We've got books there. We need more books, and it's expensive to ship those books. So you can send a donation to something specific. If you want to support the library, $200 for the library, and then we'll get it shipped with a donation from somebody else who is non-specified. But it is important in the education, and the goal in Spring of Hope is empowerment of the people in Kenya. We want them to be able to do better on their own, not with us supporting them, but backing them in the manner of encouragement, education, health, cleanliness.
right, there's so many opportunities through Spring of Hope International. People can go to the farming school, learn fantastic farming techniques. Since the school has been established through the agricultural program, there has been an increase in the number of crops that have been produced. There's so many opportunities even for pastoral care as the pastors go through formal training with the assistance of Spring of Hope International. Opportunities for nurses. We want the nurses to be able to go into the village areas and encourage and help the villagers to stay healthy, prevent disease. And Spring of Hope right now is sponsoring 8 nursing students. We want to continue to sustain that program because that in turn also helps the people to be healthier so that they can further promote education with the children. So there's also the support directly of children, either primary care students and donating money towards their schooling, or also the high school students, some of which live and need room and board actually as part of their tuition. So they need that extra assistance. So there's so many opportunities, even simple things like asking what you can do as a volunteer. Being based out of Spokane, Washington, there are connections around the United States, and there is no job too small to volunteer for and be a part of this wonderful program.
There's another opportunity that Spring of Hope offers, and that's for all of you who want a challenge. They have the Spokane Run, and it's similar to the Bloomsday, a little on a little smaller scale, but it's a fundraiser for Spring of Hope to fund the expenses needed. And that's at the end of July every year. And so you can sign up to go on the Spokane Run. There's a great promo for that on the website. Again, the website, Angie.
www.spring.hope.org or spring.hope.org.
Great. So we hope to see you on that walk. You can walk, run, push a baby carriage, drag a wagon, but be there. Be there and support this wonderful project and the journey in life. And Christ is the one who is making this all possible. God is the center of Spring of Hope. We do nothing without his oversight. And we want you to join us in that. And this is a wonderful opportunity. So join us on this team. Come on the walk. Donate funds for the special projects, bicycles for pastors so they can see their parishioners. The roads are terrible, and so the bicycles are great. They can ride from family to family, community to community. These are rural areas. The homes are very far apart, and so if we can get bicycles for the pastors, then they can make home visits a lot more frequently. They do not have cars. It's not like America. It's different.
Right, right. And a correction on that address, www.springhope.org. And also, yes, I would just love to encourage people to even just pray for this ministry, just so that God will continue to work in his wonders to help the mission projects move forward and for us to keep moving and going in new directions to help support so many wonderful people. You'll never meet a more gracious person than a Kenyan villager. These people have very little, but just like the loaves of bread in the Bible, these people want to share everything they have, and they did with us. And somehow that very little amount would turn into so much. There was no one that was left completely deprived or hungry when we were eating with the Kenyans. Even though they had limited resources, they always gave generously, and it filled our hearts with such love. They were an inspiration to us in a spiritual sense that made us want to come back and be better people, to live more faithfully, to recognize how God is blessing us every day.
Right, and the Kenyans are very respectful, and sometimes you help people and you don't feel like they really appreciate it. Well, that's not the case when you're working with Spring of Hope. With Spring of Hope, we have people who truly appreciate efforts made, and they're willing to do their part. They're not there just with a handout. They're trying to learn. They're trying to better themselves, their community, their ministry, and they are so reliant on God. Let's help them to help themselves. Spring of Hope is all about empowerment.
Right. So we'd like to thank this opportunity for IMI Right Now TV and this great way of being able to get out the word about International Spring of Hope. And we hope that you watching are impacted by this and encouraged by the beautiful faces you see in these pictures. And we would like to close two ways. One, Shug Burry, who did our prison ministry, would always greet everybody with a call sign all of her own in her own manner, which was a very joyous Hallelujah!
And then you had to answer back, Hallelujah! And if you didn't do it well, you got
Hallelujah!
And you answer back, Hallelujah! That's Spring of Hope.
And we'd also like to say Asante, which is thank you. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting these ministries.
And I just want to take a note here that the safari was a time that we could talk to each other about the work we did, future work that needs to be done, how we're going to deal with life differently now that we've been on this wonderful mission. And it was just at the tail end. I know we have a lot of photos of the safari, but it was very special too. But the ministry, that's what brought our hearts home.
Right, right. Thank you to Jose, who runs out here the IMI Right Now TV. Thank you.
Haley Jose's a man with a lot of energy, a lot of spirit, and very inspired by God. And his help with us in working with Spring of Hope has been just wonderful. He's a blessing. Thank God for Jose. Thank God for IMI Right Now TV and MCAT Studios. I think that you please.
Thank you so much for coming here, and thank you so much for watching us.
It's been great. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Asante.
Asante.
Good evening. My name is Jose Van Smith. I'm the executive producer of the IMI Right Now television show, and our co-host today is Mrs.
Hanina Sayari.
And we are honored to have her assisting us with the broadcast as our program assistant. And again, we would like to thank our distinguished guest, Mrs. Shirley Weinberg, the retired nurse, and Dr. Angela Halgo, who is in family practice here in Montana. Again, thank you all for watching our broadcast, and a special thanks to the distinguished staff over at MCAT, Missoula Community Access Channel. Have a great day.